G'day everyone, my name's Nick Bowditch. Thank you very much for hanging around this long and to hear my stuff. What I'm going to talk about is how perhaps you are overthinking this whole innovation thing. And it's really a reflection of how I overthink it. So this might be an autobiographical thing rather than talking about you, but I always start with this slide when I do speaking gigs like this, because this slide is the authentic representation of my life. These four feral but delightful little things are the reason that I get out of bed, that I go to work, that I'm still doing this stuff. I really want to know that I am A, putting a roof over their head and food in their bellies, but B, I also want to know about the world that they will grow up into very soon. I want to know how particularly my daughter, who is 7 at the moment, how she will be connected into the matrix, how she'll communicate with the world and how the world will communicate with her. Pretty soon she's going to be 13, 15, 17. God help me. But that's going to happen quicker than anything. And I don't want to be looking over her head, over her shoulder, she types into whatever the device she'll type into in 6 years is. I don't want to be that dad. But I do want to know if she is being bullied online. I want to know if she's doing the bullying online, which at this stage is far more likely. I really want to know how the world is communicating with her. I want to be abreast of this stuff. You know, I'm a small business guy, like a lot of you. I want to know how to build my small businesses, how to build my profile. I want to know how to make more money without working more. And that's got to be the goal, right? So that's why I start this slide. I also start with this slide because authenticity is very important to me. If I turn up to a business gig like this in a suit and tie or shoes, then that is not an accurate representation of my brand. And as well as thinking, Jesus, that dude looks really uncomfortable, you would also sit there thinking, that dude is lying to me. If I was in a suit and tie, that would be a lie. And I think that is the same offline as it is online, in our social channels, in our websites, in our video content, everything we do. Sometimes we get very caught up in wanting to be Gary fucking Vaynerchuk, instead of being Cheryl Jones, who owns the cafe on the corner. And I think there's a lot to be said for just paring that back and being yourself. To be you is plenty. If you have a business that is thriving or even growing or even surviving in this day and age, and you are responsible for people, or you're putting food in people's bellies, you're feeding other people's children, then that is something to be celebrated for a start, not tolerated. And it's something to hang your hat on and hang around your neck and say, you know what? I have a business that's part of this society, that's part of this community, and I'm doing something good. It's very un-Australian for us to stand up and say, do you know what? I'm really good at this, whatever this is that you do. My business is really good, my brand is really good, my customer service is really good, my cheese sandwiches are ace. The people that I employ are really good. The stuff that I make is really good. There's something very un-Australian about that. I work and have worked with a lot of North Americans, and they are not burdened by this. Represent. It's not because they're big heads or wankers, it's because they understand the value of telling your story. And we do a really, really poor job of that. And I'd love to change that. So, as Kiralee said, I did work at two brands that you might know a little bit about, which is Facebook and Twitter. I come from a tech startup background and a small business background. I'm a small business guy. I get how hard it is. I understand better than anybody out there understands what it's like to work in and to own and operate and try and build a small business. Everybody out there thinks that if you're a small business owner in Australia, they think that you have bought a job. That you just play golf all the time and it's great and you're rich and you must have no debts and no problems and you're not lying awake at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering if some dude who works for you has paid his mortgage. That's nothing to them. In here, we know that that's not true. We know how fucking hard it is to run a business in Australia and how hard Australia makes it to run a business in Australia. And yet, we're all here. You know, and whether you're an employee or an employer in a small business in Australia, we are running the country. And we need to be more proud of that, and we need to be more motivated by the fact that that is our role. Not ashamed of it. That's our story. I like you. So let's talk about what is innovation. And I know that there's a great temptation for me, coming from a tech startup background who's worked at Facebook and whatever, to go, oh, you need to develop this app, or you need to spend thousands of dollars creating some techie thing that nobody understands or understands how to use but you. And that's not what I think innovation is, in hospitality or otherwise. Innovation to me is, let's look at the stuff we do every day, and if we're doing it the same as we did it in 1997, we might need to change it. If we're still making zillions of dollars and we're happy, or we're not making hundreds of dollars and we're happy, then fine. But innovation to me isn't building some techie shiny thing. It's looking at, this is what we do, this is the way we've always done it, is it still the way to do it? And that can be as grandiose and as fantastic and fabulous as some techie app, or it can be going back to storytelling, going back to customer service, going back to caring and having empathy and realizing why you're in business and why somebody else is in your business. These things are foreign to a lot of us now, because, we've got to build our Twitter following, we've got to build our Instagram following, we've got to whatever. And I think that that's where we've gone off track and where we've maybe lost our way. One of the biggest and quickest and easiest ways for you and me to think about innovation and innovating from this moment is asking yourself, why the hell do we do it? Why do we work in a small business or run a small business when it's so friggin' hard to do it? Why do we put ourselves through that? What about the people who work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Wouldn't that be great? What about the people who don't work on Sundays? People who don't have to work on Thursday nights? All that crap that we do to make sure that we're part of this cog in the wheel. Think about why you do it. Because you are doing it. Despite all of that shit, to the contrary, we are still doing it. And most of us are doing it well. So that's the first thing I would think about, is why do you do it? The second thing is more important. Why do they care? Why are they coming into your business if they are? Why are they buying it from you and not her? Why are they coming in on Sunday? Why are they coming in on Thursday night? Why do they need a 24/7 e-commerce shopping cart? Why can't they come in? All these things that you think about when you suddenly put yourself in the customer's shoes for a change are the things that you can innovate in your business right now, whether you own the business or work in it. It's a very simple thing to think, why has Mary Jones come into the cafe today? Why is she here? Why isn't she somewhere else? Why have we kept her? Why have we motivated her to be with us? Whatever it might be. And then the simplest thing we can do better is to be better storytellers. We suck at storytelling. As Aussie small businesses, apart from this young lady over here, who isn't encumbered by I'm no good at things, we really don't want to stand up and say that. And I don't get it. Because if we don't, who will? We have to be better at telling our story. And we have to be good at storytelling, not selling. I'll give you an example. If I want to sell you this clicker thing, right? The traditional marketing and sales approach is me telling you how much it weighs, what colour it is. It's got 2 buttons, it's got a little light, and it takes AA batteries, and it lasts this long or whatever, and this is where you buy it, and you can get it in different colours. This is the warranty that comes with it, and this is how you buy it. None of which the person you're trying to sell the clicker to cares about. The person who's buying that clicker wants to know that it works. Pretty much full stop. They don't care what brand it is. People will never ever care about your brand or your business as much as you do. They never will. They will always remember how you made them feel. They'll always remember that you were there for them. But they truly don't care who you are or what you sell or what your brand is or what the price is. If I'm trying to sell you this clicker, if I was trying to sell me this clicker, then I would say that if I use this clicker, I'm sure there's a better word for it. I'm going with clicker. If I buy this clicker, I will be better at presentations. If I'm a better public speaker, then it means I can charge more for it. If I can charge more for it, then it means I don't have to do as many. If I don't do as many, then I can have more time at home. And I can surf at my own beach, and I can sleep in my own bed, and I can go to my 6-year-old's karate, even though he's rubbish, and I can hang out, and I can go to the fete, and I can do all these things, and I get to cuddle my babies more. If I buy this clicker, I get to cuddle my babies more. That's the storytelling, that's the brand, that's the message. But we don't do that, do we? We get completely obsessed with the features and the benefits and the price and the weight and the colour and blah, 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 and we're the only people who care about it. Think about why they're in your store. Think about why you're in your store. And then think about how you can tell your story better. And I want to finish tonight with the secret weapon to winning. Who thinks that's a good thing for me to finish with, right? But I reckon this is the secret weapon to, whether you're in hospitality, whether you're in small business, big business, going forward from here, 2016, 17, 18, the one thing that you need in your business that you may or may not have at the moment is kindness. We have got way away from this because we've forgotten why they're in your store. We've forgotten why we're in our bloody store. But this is the most undervalued business tool or business asset that any business in Australia can have from today. Because the truth of it is that you'll never lose business by being kind. You'll only ever gain it. I want to finish with this thought. If all of you guys didn't come today, whether you're an employer or an employee, if none of you came to get a new skill, if none of you came to learn a different story, if none of you came to maybe be a storyteller, better storyteller going out from this, then you are wasting today and perhaps more like this week, this month, this year in your business. You are to be congratulated for investing in yourself. Whether you're an employer or an employee, it's so hard to just get caught up in working in your business instead of working on your business or working on yourself as a business person. I really hope that you've gotten something out of all these fantastic speakers that were before me today. And if I've inspired you even a little bit to do something differently in your business or even just to include kindness in it, then I'm stoked. Thank you very, very much for your attention. I really appreciate it.